good evening, salutations, wherever you are, whatever time it is. It's your host, Mr. Tucker. I am so excited to share with you another guest. I've been bringing you some really insightful people, and I'm excited to reach back and talk to one of my childhood friends here. We have Mr. Jamel Herring. You should know who he is. He is our former WBC Junior Lightweight Champion. And I'm excited to talk to him today. When we talk about discipline, when we talk about focus, drive, I don't think there's a better sport, a better business to illustrate that than boxing. Mr. Herring here is a professional at just that. So welcome, sir. Yo,
See, now
you did something before.
But yeah, man, it's good to see you again, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
Good
Yeah.
to see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we all.
Man. You haven't aged
we
much,
all
man.
hit
Have you
that
hit
bro.
40 yet? We all hit 40 because we
I just
85.
hit
Yeah, we all hit
October.
40.
80s, baby.
Yo.
80s, baby. We still going strong.
So when I talk about guys going back, I'm really proud because me and Brother Herring, we go
Yeah, it
back
was like
96,
10,
man.
10,
96,
10,
we met playing football.
years
We played for the Gordon Heights Knights.
It was crazy. It's
So,
a crazy story, bro.
how do you go from
And I
football
know
to boxing?
Please just take it with a grain of salt, pal. You know what's crazy, bro? I didn't make the long-way basketball team. I think I got cut because of my grades. Shout out to Coach Miller. It was my grades were low, so I wanted to stay busy. My good friend Ashanti Hendrickson, his father was a trainer, invited me to the gym. I just stuck with it after school. So after I would get off for school, I would go to his house. His father would take us to the gym out in Shirley. It was called Atlantic Boxing at the time. And I just stuck with it from there. But I did eventually get my GPA back up and I graduated on time.
But what I love about this is it talks about how you were denied something, you faced rejection, and ultimately that rejection propelled you to where you were supposed to go. There are many times in my life where the rejection is not because you weren't good enough. It's just not where you were supposed to be.
He had another route for me, and I'm grateful because, again, even then, the whole school situation made me step my game up and become more disciplined to where I wanted to get my grades back up and make something of myself.
Okay, so you start boxing. I'm guessing this is in junior high school. Now, keeping track with you, I recall when we graduated high school, you would go to the Marines.
I was in boot camp
June 04?
like a week or two before my 18th birthday at the end of October. I had to grow up quick. At the time, I was the youngest, so I had to grow up quick, man. But for the most part, it matured me. Because you know me, bro. Come on. We used to class clowns, all that, have fun. And there wasn't no joke. So it just basically matured me. And I pretty much became a man during my Marine Corps career.
Definitely. But Jamel, if I could just give you some flowers, brother. Though there are times you may have been a clown, from my experience, you always had a bit of maturity and some reserve to you. I feel like you were somebody that could be reached. Some of us were a little bit more wilder, and it'd take a lot to reel you in, but I always felt like you were somebody that if you would joke around, even in amongst the group, you were one of the voices that, you know what I'm saying?
My father played no games, man, so it's cool to have fun, but you gotta take things seriously every now and then.
Yeah, I told my dad that he may have ruined a great potential because I grew to be about 6 feet. I'm around 200 pounds when I train. I'm like, you probably had a football player in me, but like you said, you was too hard on me, man. You broke me out of that sport.
Like we was in varsity at the time. I'm like, yo, this is Pee Wee.
Yeah.
Y'all too hard on this, man. I'm Coach Payne and all them dudes back in the day, man. Exactly.
Yeah, Coach Payne, man, I remember him. Cool dude. So you go from Longwood to the Marines. When do you start boxing again? Because I'm assuming that there had to be at some point some kind of break in the boxing. Because shout out to Ashanti too. Ashanti was also on that 96 Gordon Heights team, man. Yeah, we all talk about that photo. Hopefully, when I do the post editing, I'll be able to pop it up there for us.
2003. By 05, it was my first deployment in Iraq. I did 7 months. They knew I wanted to box, but they told me I had to do my duty as a Marine. So I deployed like in 05, or like February 05, all the way up to August. Then I came back. I got acquainted with the all-Marine boxing team out in Canton, June, North Carolina. And I was with them for like maybe a good year, but then I got called back to my unit and deployed to Iraq again in Fallujah in 07. So after that, I had re-enlisted. Basically, my 4 years is up, but I re-enlisted. And once I re-enlisted, I went to pretty much a non-deployable duty station out in Indian Head, Maryland, just for me to get back on the team And from like '08 to 2012 is when I really started boxing again, to the point where I got to the Olympic team in 2012 at the London Games.
So it
You know,
took
at
you
the
4 years
time,
to get
but
yourself
amateur
in
boxing,
Olympic
you know,
shape.
they start when they maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, because you can compete when you're about 8 years old. Like I was telling you, I probably didn't start boxing until maybe I was like
Okay.
15, 16, and then I had to take a break because of the Marine Corps. So during my time as a Marine, I had to pretty much the fundamentals on the go and tape study, watch film, watch how the fighters that were way ahead of me were winning. It's crazy. Like I said, if you really do your homework on amateur boxing, a lot of these guys have 300 amateur fights. When I made the Olympic team, I had under 100 fights. But to me, being a Marine, they had selected me to be one of the team captains of the boxing team. That was a big deal.
Because you're on the team. I feel like I used to see photos with Terrence
I trained
Crawford.
Clarissa.
And what's the other
I
girl's
met
name?
that time she was like,
Carissa?
see, we got a 10-year gap over her. But yeah, I was there with Errol Spence, Rashid, 3-time Olympian at the time. My guy Marcus Brown from Staten Island, Jose Ramirez, and the list goes on. Like I said, Clarissa, Marlena Esparza. They was already well established, and I'm looking like these are individuals who got multinational champions, but because of my pedigree as a Marine, they trusted me to be the team captain to lead them going into the games, and we had a great time.
That was a dope experience, man. I was proud of you. I was proud to be able to say, not only am I looking at the Olympic Games, I played Pee Wee with this guy, one of my high school classmates from my neighborhood, man, representing. That's dope, you know what I'm saying? Sadly, we don't get to look on TV and see ourselves, because, brother, believe me, whenever you are out achieving, we see ourselves in you. We're carrying you. There have been a few of your fights where I was literally out at the bar letting everybody know, yo, this is one of my
My
teammates.
God.
It don't matter if we only play football at 96. That's still my teammate. Once you play football, you always the football.
We had to learn how to do all the editing. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, wow, yes.
Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I
Yeah,
remember. I can't
so
remember right now, but I know you're
everything we
talking
was
about.
doing
Yeah.
then, you could do that with AI, just typing it in there. It was crazy, but we was out there, you know what I'm saying? Adobe,
Yeah.
Photoshopping it, everything.
Word. So I would go on to college, bro. When I was in
Yeah,
college,
yeah.
I got a job at Kinko's. I used to hustle making party flyers, doing people's events. Shout out to Longwood for giving us that class, man, because that's probably why I was able to jump into that stuff when I got into college so quickly. Were there any challenges? Did you really just say to yourself, all right, I'm gonna start training, and in 4 years, I'm gonna go to the Olympics? If you're trying to lose weight, you can set, all right, in 2 weeks, I should try to get 2 to 5 pounds off, you know what I mean? Were there key performance indicators you might have set for yourself to let you know I'm on my way?
My story isn't perfect, you know what I mean? So there was hard lessons I had to learn during my way just to get to the Olympics. I think 2011, the U.S. Nationals, I had lost. And you know what I'm saying? I lost badly, matter of fact, to where it almost broke my confidence. But then I think that tournament was like in June, but I had already qualified for the Olympic trials. But I was at the, people don't notice, I was at there's like seeds. You know how we do with tournaments. I was at the very bottom of the barrel. I probably could show you a picture of the, you know what I'm saying, of the chart, the tournament chart. And basically, the way the Olympic trials works is you have to basically lose twice for boxing. And if you lose one time, they put you in the loser's bracket, and you have to basically keep winning to get back into the winner's bracket. I grinded so hard in those next 2 months that I went on to beat multinational champions where I didn't lose at all to win the whole entire Olympic trials. But it still wasn't over from there. Then you had to go from there to go qualify overseas again in the World Championships. And then my first fight, because like I said, I'm still in an experience. Like I tell you, I'm still learning on the job. My first fight at the AIBA World Championships, I had lost to China. So I had to basically start all the way over again going into 2012 of February, where I basically won my first U.S. national title that year. It was stacked because everybody's pretty much after me to get that chance to get on the Olympic team. So I had to basically fight everybody that came across before, newcomers, guys that were young coming up. So it was rough, but once I did that, I went on to Brazil. I qualified for my spot on the Olympic team, and I became the team captain. But at the end of the day, you never stop perfecting your craft. Look at guys we grew up admiring, like Michael Jordan. He had all the accolades, but it never stopped him from those role models that you and I had coming up with, which I try to look at, study, and mold myself at times.
So the only thing I want to say is, and I do agree with the Jordan thing, but I think the problem with Jordan sometimes is we don't get to see enough of his growth. We forget about the whole 80s period in which it was rough. And so I feel like you're actually a boxer if you're not undefeated and Virtually no fighter is really undefeated. Floyd Mayweather lost in the Olympics. We saw him boohooing on the side. Right, he was cheated or not, but he still lost. The point that I'm trying to get to is you have to accept losses. Sometimes for a lot of us, it could seem humiliating. You got beat up or you lost the fight.
Right.
Yet you have to keep going, and obviously you do. You're still fighting. You talked about the challenges to get to the gold medal. What advice would you tell any of us? We may not be boxing, but we get our butts kicked in real life, but we have to still keep coming. What is something that you've learned in your profession? I tell everybody, we can watch the TV and watch everybody, but as soon as somebody punches you in your face, you don't know what that feels like. It's not that easy to take a punch. If I hit you right now, I don't care how tough you are, you're gonna be a little like, what's going on? Because you're not equipped to be taking hits like that. I might be able to loosen up and get to it, but the reality is for a second, you're not right. You have adapted ability to roll with it and keep going. What are some gems you can give us to maybe apply that in our regular lives?
One thing I was trial and error, and more importantly, honestly, self-belief. I've been counting out more times than I can count, honestly. But if you have that self-belief and you want something badly, you just work at it. You're not always going to get it right on the first try. You know what I mean? That's when the whole trial and error come into play. Sometimes you may have to go back to the drawing board, look at your mistakes. Sometimes you also, like a lot of people have a hard time also accepting criticism. Constructive criticism played a huge role in my career and out the ring. Nobody's perfect. And sometimes people just want to see you do better and help. You got to take it on the chin, learn to have thick skin and take some criticism at times. So for me, again, man, just never give it up on yourself, because the minute you give up on yourself, I feel like it's over. You got one foot out the door and it's over from there. I never wanted to be that individual that says, what if? Because like I said, you never want to be that person. Because again, you may look at somebody, you can look at somebody that you know or came up in the same field and see how far they went, and then you be that guy like, man, I could have been there. What if I never wanted to be that person? Even if I failed over and over, at least I could say I tried and gave it my all. Hunger and that dog in you, go for it. Who's to stop you? The only person that can stop you from doing what you want to do is yourself. But you would never want to be that guy to look down 5, 10, 20 years later and be like, man, what if I would have just stuck with this and kept going? I probably could have been here. By then, it's too late and you'll never know. But if you know you gave it your all and, okay, you came up short, okay, I tried. I did my best. I gave it my all. But sometimes you may surprise yourself and go even further than your own expectations if you just keep trying and keep going.
Nah, I totally. Can you share a moment that you feel like people counted you out, you really overcame that's a really proud, one of those resounding moments where your life just showed you like, yeah, I'm really him?
Back in 2009, I didn't want to do anything. My first daughter, she passed away at 2 months from SIDS. And it took the people around me, the Marines I served with, my friends and family, to get me out of that dark space in time of my life. And from there, I actually took a tragedy and turned it into motivation, even to this day. If you look closely at all my fights and my fight trunks, I have her name on my trunks as a reminder. If I'm going through a hard fight, I can look down and be like, okay, I've been through worse. This is the reason why I fight. So I've learned over the years to turn a lot of things that people can take as, this is it, this is the end, and into a positive. Before I won my first world title, I had suffered 2 defeats. And like I say, boxing, sometimes you take one loss and they want to write you off. I've been written off before, but again, like I've mentioned before, I didn't care what nobody said. I believed in me. I didn't care. Okay, I'll fall. Okay, I fell again. But at the same time, I knew that I had it in me to be something special. I just had to maybe do things a little different and go back to the drawing board and just dig a little deeper. And like I said, I never forget, they took my story, even with ESPN, as, okay, he finally got to the world title fight, but at least we could say he finally got there. And I was like, no, I'm not going to just sit there and say I got there and I'm happy with that. I wanted to go on, get the title, and go even farther. So again, my first title defense, I fought Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach just gave Gervonta Tank Davis one of the hardest fights of his career. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to talk about that.
I'm the only one to have that win over Lamont Roach. Even guys like superstars that people look at like Tank Davis, some people feel like he lost that fight. But I pushed myself to win that.
I feel like he lost that fight.
I went overseas to fight a man like the Carl Frampton. 2016, Carl Frampton was Fighter of the Year. He was Fighter of the Year by Ring Magazine, which is a big prestige. 2016, Jamel Herring suffered his first loss July 3rd, 2016. When me and Carl Frampton met each other in 2021, he was already a 3-time world champion in 2 weight divisions. I was just there as the guy with the belt. The whole event was built around Carl Frampton, and I went out there and knocked Carl Frampton out in 5 or 6 rounds. So you know what I mean? So again, like I said, one thing I was always told, even as a fighter, it don't matter if this guy across from you or whoever got 100 wins or whatever. He could have fought 100 bums, but he never fought one of you. That's how you got to look at it. I don't care who you beat, you never came across me.
How does it feel to have a moment like that? This guy's got all this bravado going for him, and you just knock him out. And it's like you just snatch the victory. What does that feel like?
And again, I didn't brag. I didn't boast. I was humble. I hugged him. Thanked him for the opportunity because he didn't have to fight me. He already had his career cemented. He'll probably be a Hall of Famer someday. But again, it was just one of the moments where I know I put in the work, and I was just grateful for the opportunity and grateful to be where I'm at because, again, if I would have given up on my goals and my dreams, who knows where I would have been today. You know what I mean? Like I said, I could have given it all up in 2009 and just went a whole different path. But like when you and I spoke in the beginning of this, when we started speaking, sometimes God has different plans for us, you know what I mean? And God set me on a different path, and I didn't give up. I just kept it going.
Let me ask you something else, because I've always struggled with this. And I think it really made me realize, like, yo, this is hard. How do y'all deal with the trash talking? Because sometimes once you had your title and you was in a light, like your press conferences started to get a little bit more engaging.
I knew
I'm going to be honest. I still have a chip in my shoulder when it comes to Shakur Stevenson.
Man, you know what it is, bro?
Are you cool with him? Yeah, so you cool with him. I gotta be cool with him. And not that I can really do anything about it, brother. I know. I'm just saying. But you was talking about my man's, and
I be mature and put things to the side. Like I love Shakur, man. I can talk to him right now. He came to me at the end of the night and he apologized for everything. For everybody that doesn't know, we speak all the time. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I actually plan coming to New York at the end of this month to support him in his fight against my other boy, Teofimo Lopez. So again, but nah, you had to be mature. And like, I tell people, I don't ever hold grudges. Even when it comes to family, you don't want to hold grudges because, let's be real, look where we came from. And it's sad to say, a lot of people we came up with are not here today. Think about everybody, whether we got along or not, and you never want to see anyone go out early, especially at a young age. We're still young, but a lot of people aren't with us today. I always tell people, and even kids that I mentor, never hold grudges. You don't have to forget. You can forgive and don't forget. Especially when it comes to family, you don't want to hold grudges. It could be something over the smallest thing, and then boom, tomorrow they're gone, and you never got your chance to really speak your mind or what was in your heart. To make peace, and they don't want to accept it. Hey, at least you can say you tried. If it's something real petty, and like I said, again, it's trash talk, it's a fight, I get it. Emotions are involved. He feels like he wants something that I have, whatever, cool. But again, we put it to the side. We speak all the time, and like I said, I support him. He supports what I do, and we just moved on from there.
Again, that's what I admire about your sport. I think you guys demonstrate masculinity at the highest degree. I would say maybe football, basketball, or UFC, but even some of those guys, they don't necessarily have to outwardly express themselves the way that you guys will, because it's just you two. Yeah, I also saw that you were commentating. You know, are you still gonna do that, or?
I'm with Crystal Apple, and she definitely wants me to take a desk job and comment. But I love commentating because I love sharing my knowledge of the sport and giving my insight with everything. I sit there and maybe have someone learn and see what they may not be seeing correctly, or they don't understand. I can break it down to them. I love doing like that. Yeah, I definitely still do commentating. And hopefully, once I'm done what I'm doing now, I can make a commentating a full-time career.
Yeah, I was going to ask next. I know you have a fight coming up. 17th. I thought I looked it up. I don't have that date in front of me right now. Hold on. Yeah, your fight is Saturday, and at the end of the month is Shakur.
But yeah, mine is the 17th at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. And his is at the end of the month against my boy Teofimo Lopez at the Garden.
How much longer are you looking to fight for?
I'm just taking it one at a time, man. Taking it one at a time. Like my body, like I said, my body feels good. You know what I'm saying? I feel good.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing that I tell people all the time. You got to take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Inside the gym and when people aren't looking, or when you're on the camera, you got to take care of yourself and stay disciplined. For me, I'm slimming down. I got to make weight next week, but I stay disciplined and I feel strong and good.
Like me, confident and excited about this upcoming bout.
I'm going into something fully focused, and I'm putting my all into it. You know what I mean? If I'm going to do something, I'm going to go all the way through with it and give it my all.
for somebody else that might be listening, is there ever times where, again, I believe you that you're confident, you're ready, but throughout your career, have there ever been times where you
All the
had
time,
that
man.
confidence but
Listen,
still had
I
some
don't care what
butterflies,
anyone
some
says, man.
jitters?
All the greats
Okay.
have, butterflies. I'm pretty sure even the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, had butterflies when his first world title fight against Sonny Liston. So again, you're human. It's not that you're scared. It's that when you go into something, you want to make sure
Right.
you crossed out all the X's and O's and everything. You want to make sure that you left no stone unturned. You go in there thinking, I need to make sure that I'm on point. I need to make sure everything is right. So that's where really the butterflies come from. But other than that, once you get in there, in that moment, you just get tunnel vision and you just go to work.
I had a question. You alluded to it earlier. So I saw that you had that victory over Roach. Tank Davis, they try to bill him as the next coming of Tyson. Initially, I was believing it too, but recently, his behavior outside of the sport, and I think it started to fall into the sport, just turned me off that I wanted to see him lose.
Right.
But I always hear this statement, styles make fights. So, for example, the
No, it doesn't.
equation,
It doesn't.
you beat
Like you said, you
Roach.
was right on point.
Does that
Maybe
mean
my
you beat
style was a
Tank
lot
Davis?
trickier for Lamont, but it may be something
Mhm.
for Tank to read. We've seen it in the past. We've seen guys like Shane Mosley, Ricardo Mayorga, and Vernon Forrest beat Shane Mosley twice. But Vernon Forrest went on to lose to
I remember
he
that.
went on to lose to Mayorga twice.
He got
Shane
rocked by
Mosley came
Mayorga.
back and beat him. Exactly. So that's a
And
perfect
then
example right there.
Mosley
So
rocked
it's not saying
Mayorga.
that I can't beat him, but just that you can't always go based off of
Yeah.
somebody who lost or beat. And it doesn't. That's not how boxing works. That's not even how. I don't think it's how any sport works or anything you do in life works. Yeah, it's not how.
That's what I was gonna ask you next.
Think about
How
it.
styles make
And like
fights.
a lot of people don't really go off of Michael Jordan when he had to go through in the '80s. Michael Jordan had a rough time getting out the East, but we pretty sure we all seen him beat guys out there in the West, you know what I'm saying, that were still beating the guy Michael Jordan was losing to. You know what I'm saying? It's all about it's all everything, you know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
So you should
yeah.
never what this individual did. If anything, because like I said before, you can be 100-0 with no losses, but at the same time, that individual never came across you, and you just may have the formula and style, not even just in boxing and whatever, you know what I'm saying, you put yourself through to be better than that individual. Even if it's for one night only, you still can have what it takes to have your moment and be great.
It was a distinguished older black
Yes.
man on stage, and he was saying the greatest gift you have is your individuality. There's no one else like you. So if you can harness that, that is your most powerful, most precious gift. Is to harness who you are
And I
and
even
find a way to unleash that
yeah,
onto
crazy
the
thing about it,
world.
I think even
And that is the greatest thing that you
Jay-Z
can
once
do.
said
Mhm.
everybody has a talent, but it's just up to you to harness and find that talent within yourself. You may have wanted to do this, but you were actually at this. You know what I mean? So you have to harness that talent. I know, like I said, I know a lot of people that would be an athlete, but they're greater at being a sports commentator. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things where just because you may
Yeah.
have not succeeded in this doesn't mean that you're not in another area. You could probably be the best in that area than you thought you could be, but you never
Yeah.
find out because you never took time to harness that greatness within.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm a communications professor. Shout out to my class at Lansdowne High School. I was telling them about my life, and early on in my life, I used to be a banker. I had my
Right.
Series 663, so I was legit doing my thing, but I didn't like it. I couldn't talk to people smoothly. I would stutter when I was making my recommendations. I just generally was not happy. I felt like it wasn't genuine work. I tell people all the time, you can absolutely work in
Right.
finance and still help people and do good, honest work. I just don't think I could. I remember I was talking to them about the work I used to do, and I was like, you see how smooth I can talk to you about investments, Roth IRAs, and investing with I'm a mortgage broker, and how smooth I can do that now? It's
Nothing
because I
wrong with
really
that.
love being
Nothing
a
wrong.
communications professor, but I hated
Nothing
being
wrong
a
with that.
banker.
Like you can do it, but it just wasn't for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you less in
Right.
your heart. You found your way. Like I said, trial and error. You found your footing, and you're happy with where you're at.
Absolutely. This podcast is for my mentoring company, JustINSPIRE Mentoring, and that's really what we're all about, helping people find their purpose. In our mentoring, we mentor from something called the 6 circles of purpose. There are 6 domains that if a young man or a young lady for that matter, focus on these domains, this will help you find out what your purpose is. The domains are health, but I consider health to be your mind, body, your emotional grounding. You know what I'm saying? So that could be your spirit. Travel, you got to be exposed. Travel ain't just where you go, but it's what you're reading as well. You know, your career, that's like your calling, your direction, right? What are you doing? Where you going? Because I feel like in life, we can talk around it all you want, but everything that you do after school is directed at how you're working. If you're working for yourself, entrepreneur, you go in that route, right? If you want to be a scholar, get into academia like me, you're going to college. If you just want to work, you got to survive. All these things are going to be driving what you do. So again, that's why I think that career circle is so important. Then finances, and I connect my finances with discipline because I think the two run hand in hand. I'm actually working on a series where I call it about where I'm going to examine a lot of high profile athletes or men of character and go through how like falling away from discipline, how it's taken a lot of great men from great platforms. As young men, you can start to strengthen yourself now and avoid all that stuff. Even me, I'll tell young men all the time, there's a lot of money, a lot of things that I blew away when I was younger, and it was just for lack of discipline. I'm not a bad person for it. I'm human. A lot of men my age can attest to when I was younger, we did foolish things because we had foolish ways. But if you have somebody in your corner with wisdom and you adhere to it, you don't have to make those same mistakes. So again, that's why we talk about the power of our relationships next, as well with the finances and discipline, the circle of discipline. I mean, spirituality, excuse me, because who you are, man, your spirit, that's gonna guide everything. And then when you have all that stuff in alignment, you can figure out your purpose. And when you got your purpose, that's like your marching orders for life. I think that's one of those things that kind of goes back to what you were saying before about the grit to keep pushing through. If it's what you feel like you meant to do, you can't stop it. You gotta go with it. It's impossible. It's like I tell young people, if somebody calls you a name and they call it wrong, you're gonna correct them every single time. Even if you're scared to speak publicly, you're gonna get that name right because you know that's your name. Ain't nobody calling you nothing else. And I'm telling you, if you live your life where your purpose is like that, you can't go wrong and you can't get steered off.
There we go.
Yeah, you muted again.
But no, I'm with you 100%, man.
There you go.
I'm with you 100% on that. I couldn't say any better, man. Well,
definitely. So I know you mentioned earlier that one of the things that makes your career so dope is you got there a little bit later, but you were passionate and dedicated to it.
It's too late.
That helps you weather the storm.
It's never too late.
And you got to the promised land.
If you had the passion for it and you know what I'm saying, you're doing everything right, you're treating yourself, your spirituality, you're taking care of your body and your mind is sharp, you can still do anything that you put yourself to. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do. I never, like I said, because when people get like that, they place their self-doubt within you. That's just them speaking for themselves, what they feel they can and can't do. So I just go one day at a time, and I wake up every day motivated and happy, and I feel like I'm blessed.
I had my friend, shout out to Mr. Hayes, his son was boxing briefly. He was going to a boxing gym. If a young man is interested in pursuing boxing, maybe trying to get into the amateurs, some golden gloves, like what's the process? How do you do that?
Area, of course, I usually tell people, basically, I think that you can Google USA boxing clubs in the metro area, and they'll pretty much give you a list of every gym under USA Boxing, registered from Long Island, Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, and Manhattan. There's so many gyms out there. You got to just basically go out there and find where you feel comfortable at. Because again, even when you start working with a trainer, it's all about chemistry. But like I said, everything with box starts actually at home. And there's actually a lot of gyms out there for kids to get out there and just try it. Even if you don't want to compete, but you're willing to learn and maybe get in shape and enjoy the fitness aspect, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But even if you're outside of New York, I'm pretty sure you can just Google your area with just boxing gyms and it'll pop up.
Yeah, I'm in the Baltimore area. I've driven around and I've seen some boxing gyms from the outside. I've never actually walked into a real live boxing club gym. Fitness, I like to use boxing for working out.
There's plenty of gyms out there.
It feels good hitting a heavy bag.
It's a quick search and get in contact with one of the trainers. Ask them about the scheduling and just go from there. They're more likely they will just invite anyone, especially kids, just come to the gym, try it out, and speak with them, work with them, learn with them, and go from there.
So it is like the movie, The Gusto, to get up, go to the gym and be consistent.
Most gyms I've been to have open doors to everybody.
That's interesting, man. Let me see if I have any more questions. I'm glad we got to that one about do styles make fights?
Okay.
So let me ask this. What have losses taught you the most?
The Shakur fight, it was hard, but I didn't give up. I learned a lot from that fight, matter of fact. There's things that I picked up that he was doing that I picked up on. I'm like, okay, let's see what he did there. And I just took it back to the drawing board and went from there. Even to this day, I still implement things I learned from that fight. I always speak with the fighters in general. Some fighters, they take a loss and basically pick up their ball and go home and never come back out. But then you got some fighters that just, they take the loss, okay, take a little bit of time off, regroup, have the discipline to actually admit, okay, what did I do wrong here? What did I do wrong? Speak with your team. You go over, you have thick skin to where sometimes they might have to be completely honest with you. You was doing this wrong. You was doing this. Because let's be honest, a lot of people don't like to take constructive criticism. So again, you have to be willing to be, okay, we try. Maybe your way isn't always the best route. There's nothing wrong with getting help or asking for help. For me, I failed at that test, but I didn't give up. I said, okay, what can I do to get better or fix the problem? And I just went from there.
It sounds like you don't have an issue asking for help and taking feedback. What helped get you there? Because I don't think that's a natural thing for a lot of people.
I don't know a lot of knowledge still.
So you've always had this disposition. I'm not perfect, so what do you got to say? You've always been like that?
Again, I still don't know it all. I don't have an issue. Yeah, that's what
I said. You were more easygoing, so that align. What you're saying does align with my experience.
For me, I'm easygoing, and I'm willing to learn. Even if I say something and I have the wrong information, I can be managed to be like, you know what? My bad, I was wrong, my mistake. I appreciate you for correcting me. I don't take it as, oh, you trying to come at me. No, I'm like, okay, if I'm wrong, tell me. That's what I tell people all the time. Not even just taking criticism. You also got to have good people around you that pull you to the side and be like, you handled that wrong. You handled that situation. Just in life in general, you could have did better with that. The way you handled that situation was totally wrong. You got too many people out here, from athletes to entertainers, whatever. You see them constantly getting into trouble or messing up out there in the world because they don't have good people around them to pull them to the side and be like, yo, that wasn't cool. You really messed up. So if I mess up, I tell people all the time, if I mess up, please put me to the side. I may want to hear it at that time. I will greatly appreciate it, you know what I'm saying, as time goes on, because it's stuck in it's implanted in me and be like, okay, the last time I was in this situation, I handled it like this. Let me see if I do it this way, how things go about. And it just may go even better. I'm like, you know what? I appreciate you from that time we spoke and yada, yada, because I came across the same situation, but this time I handled it a different way.
Who are some of the mentors that were most impactful in your life?
I would say, for one, it all starts in the household, my parents. I never forget Crystal's father, Mr. Bernard Applin, who passed away a few years back. He always believed in me when I was a kid. I thought he was crazy. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought he was going to say, I was just a galaxy, bro. Like, I was short. I was real short. I just trying to get by every day, get through one grade at a time. We would have conversations on the side, and he would always tell me that he just seen something in me that I would be, you know what I'm saying, that I'd be great at. I didn't know then at the time what it was. I thought it was just somebody just trying to be nice to a kid, to uplift a kid. But when I look back, I never forget where I came from. I always remember those who pulled me to the side. And even when I didn't believe, because trust me, I didn't always believe in myself. I didn't always have self-confidence, but it was people that helped in my upbringing. I had good elders that, you know what I'm saying, that actually cared about me to see me do great. And like I said, one thing I remember forget, when I came back from graduation, I remember I went to visit Crystal, but she wasn't there. I ran into her father. And I had my uniform on. And he was just proud to see me in that place. That always sticks out to me to this day. And that was like 2004. It's 2026 now. I never forget where I came from. I never forget the people that you know what I'm saying, that actually believed in me. That's why I always feel like it's my responsibility to do the same thing for the generation now under us, to be a proper, decent role model. I'm not perfect. I still have my flaws. I still try my best to set a better example. And a lot of people don't know also, that's why when my first world title fight, I know I told you on the phone, but my colors that I wore was purple and gold because that was what we wore when we was kids. Is Golden Heights nights. We was purple and gold. So it was just a thing for me to show respect to the people that actually started me out within sports and to never forget where I came from as a man.
Next year, Golden Heights is going to make 100 years, man. I love to be a part of some of their celebrations, man, because that's dope. Yeah. And there's a lot of talent that came out of that community, like yourself. And hopefully one day they'll say me too.
I want to get back. But I've been trying for years to figure out, to that program, matter of fact, whether it's to get the kids new, because let's be real, bro, we ain't had the best gear. You know what I'm saying? But we did what we had. You know what I'm saying? We worked with what we had. The time we competed against, they was maybe getting new jerseys every year, new shoulder pads. For me, I'm still figuring out, trying to get with the right people to help get some sponsorship for the kids. Because again, we live in an era now, a lot of kids, I feel like a lot of kids are stuck in the house playing on devices. I want to see kids back outside. Kids in this era are stuck in the house on devices. I want to see kids back outside, being productive.
I'm trying to get them outside. I think getting young people thinking. Yo, you know what? I've actually started recording today. I posted the first video where I talk about the poem. I'm actually learning myself, so I'll be honored to teach you as I'm coming along too. Okay. I'm starting an event series. I'm gonna try to get it off this month. I call it Nightclub. I'll also DJ. So I'll play some hip hop music, try to get some guys to come through, just play some chess, teach us some strategies for every session. I'll teach a little the basics. And my goal is to build a chess team. But my final question before this thing messes up on us again. It's January 2026. Believe it or not, even though we're embarking on a new year, I know for a fact there are a lot of young men that might be going through challenges. They just might not find that belief. Life itself can be like a title fight, and they might really believe they are down and out on those cards. What would you say to a young man right now if you had the opportunity to speak some life into someone that feels full of defeat?
2025 for me actually was a rough year, man. It was a rough year, but I could have thrown in the towel. I had great people around me that actually cared and loved me. You may feel down, but trust and believe there's somebody out there that wants to see you succeed and do well. There's somebody out there who really loves you. Even if you don't see the strength within yourself at the time, you are a lot stronger than what you may think. Never give up. Take one day at a time. Little progress is better than no progress at all. Over time, you will get back to where you need to be at. You will climb over those challenges.
Absolutely. Mr. Herring, thank you so much for your time. Everyone that listened, thank you so much. Remember, champions are not just built in the ring, they're built in life over time. So hang in there, guys. I love you.